All right, here's my streaming rig video. This is February of 2021. This is a wooden rig I built last year. It's on woods. It's on woods. It's on wheels. It's very similar to the Carl D'Angelo rig, but I've added these extra supports there, and then one up there. So mounted off these are these two LED arms. They're relatively cheap. I think it was like 35 bucks for a pair. And so both of those turn on. There's one on the other side. And then I have similar LED lights, one here and one here, that I turn on for my face cam. But I just turned them off for this video just to make it a little easier. And then mounted on top of that is a clamp. This is one of these is the 405 and the other is the 440. I bought both of them used. Shout out to Don't Panic Flip and Jedi McMuffin for selling me their old cameras. But these are always there, always attached. And then you do the HDMI to HDMI out. So that's the micro USB or micro HDMI out. And then they also have power that runs down. So I have all that running down. There's my other camera right there, mounted there, pointing at me. All of that runs down to a power supply that I have right there, and that connects. That has USB power for the LED lights. So I got a bunch of those, and then those are the bit blockers for the camera. So I have all the power coming off that, and then that actually has a button, so I can just click that and it turns all that on. And then I have another power adapter coming out that I have my cord for my makeshift pin stadiums that plug in, but I can't use those on TNA because the magnets don't work. So this is the power cord just hanging here that I would plug in my pin stadiums. So that's powered off that. And then the last thing, I have a 920 that I have like another playfield camera, and that goes to USB. So the overhead camera goes into this AverMedia HDMI to USB device, and then the player cam goes to one of those $15 cheap USB devices. I think it's right here. It's kind of hard to see, but it's HDMI goes into that, and then USB. And then I have literally everything coming together. And so off of the front of the rig, I have just a few cables. One is the power cable for that. So that runs to the front, but everything else runs to the back here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cables that I plug in every time. This blue one is my microphone. This one is the C920. This gold one is the face cam. This is the playfield cam. And then the display port that goes to the monitor. So I have this monitor connected to my wooden rig, which is awesome. I love having that. Then I also have this blue snowball. All of my audio goes through this. So it captures game sound and my voice. So what's really great is when I'm playing, all I have to do is look up, and there's my player cam. So it kind of, while I'm reading chat, which is right here, I'm kind of looking at the player cam. The mic is close to my face and out of camera. And so chat is right here. Here are my stats, and then there's my activity feed. I could make these bigger, but I'm really not far. Like, here's my face. I'm not far away from reading any of it, which is super convenient. There's my layout. And then you can see this is direct capture. That is direct capture. Spooky's awesome because I have an HDMI splitter that's USB powered that's sitting in the back box. Then I have an HDMI cable that runs out of the back box. So Stearns, I have the direct capture there. But I have a HDMI that comes out like a 15-foot one. And then that's another one of those $15 HDMI to USB devices that runs there. So a lot of USB extensions to get from here to there. But then this is my streaming rig. This is like a bedside medical cart, and it goes up and down, which is great because when I'm not using it, all I have to do is unplug the main power into this power strip. Main power, my Cat 5 cable or my Ethernet cable in, the 5 cables that go into that. So I just unplug a few things, and then this table can actually lower. I lower it down, and then I can push it out of the way. Otherwise, the table is tall enough that it can go over top of a pinball machine. So that's what's great. If I'm in this row, that table can actually go over top of the pinball machines. And then the width of this is thin enough that I can actually scoot it between the legs of a pinball machine. So even when I had 4 machines and it was a little tighter, I could still fit this, I could wheel this cart around really easily. This PC I bought used off Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. It has an i7 processor in it. It had a NVIDIA 980 Ti, so it runs totally fine. All I had to do was I put in an SSD drive so it would boot faster, and I put in an extra PCI USB card. So I added that. So I mean, there's a lot going into this device, and I still have bandwidth issues where I need to make sure I split up the cameras between the motherboard and the PCIe card. I could add another card if I wanted to, or I could add one of those HDMI cards. But this was cheap. I mean, like $300 computer, and then that card was like 20 bucks. So it's a relatively cheap solution. I do have to plug in a lot. I mean, it's just 5 cables, but I mean, it takes 15 seconds. So the only solution, or the only thing that I would like at this point to make it faster, would be maybe instead of running all of these extensions from the mount or this rack, do some sort of USB hub and maybe only run 1 or 2 cables. But really, I'm splitting hairs at that point. So instead of plugging in 5 cables, I'd be plugging in like 2 or 3. But this monitor stays on top. I literally just have it clamped to the top with the mouse and keyboard. And this I normally have, I usually have Twitch going to see who other people are streaming, or I might have YouTube to play music into my headphones, or I've had Discord running to do Discord conversations, and then I usually just devote that straight to OBS. But yeah, I think that's my setup. Altogether, I mean, there's definitely a few $100 here, but I feel like I did it relatively cheap. Everything's almost used. I mean, these clamps add up because those are like 20 bucks a piece, but like my LEDs, I have 4 panels, so they were like 35, 40 bucks a pair. And then cameras I got used. Snowball works well for audio. Built the frame. I mean, there's like 20 bucks worth of wood there. I don't know, 10 bucks for the wheels. The cart, I think, is like $40 for that cart. Used computer, I don't know. Monitor, that one I already had, that one I bought. Crappy old keyboard. I don't know, nothing crazy here, but if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.